You're not hearing me. There's something else up in the sky, and it's not human.
As I said to Dan, I'll say it to you. You guys fucking nailed it. This thing is fantastic.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, that's all I got. All right, see you later. No, being serious, the third floor has worked on so many projects, so many cool projects. Is there a shot or sequence that you guys use that you're super happy with, that like when people come in and like are asking you about doing work, that's the one you put on to be like, check out our work?
Well, are you talking from within Killer of Killers? Is that
no? I just mean in general, like the whole company.
In general. Oh, geez, man, there's so much. Oh, that's daunting. I mean, honestly, there's not one, because there's just, if somebody's looking for superheroes, we're going to show some rad scenes from Avengers Endgame, or if somebody's looking for, sci-fi, show them something from Mandalorian. Honestly, it's very tailored to what they're looking for, but I love a lot of scenes and across a lot of movies. I love things from Warhorse. I love things from BFG. I love things from, honestly, Prey. Prey, we had some incredible scenes that we did previews in a game engine for that really kind of led to the inspiration of doing this animated movie.
So this is the first time you guys have made an animated movie. And I'm curious, what was the big lesson, or what were some of the big lessons that you took from it that, you'll take with you to when you make your next one?
Well, we've done animation before, but this is our first feature length of animation. So he was huge. It was daunting. We were excited to use Game Engine in a way that, we had pushing it to a whole new level. We really wanted to combine, traditional art and painting and kind of traditional techniques with this kind of real-time workflows that we were developing. So we had to build those railroad tracks just before the train was coming, So I think what we take from it is a level of confidence that we know what needs to be done and we know we can do it. And the team is just so incredible. They brought so much artistry to it that now I'm just like, okay, let's do more. Honestly, I can't wait to for the team to keep growing and take on multiple projects and see where it goes from here.
One of the things that I read was that you guys animated on the twos for this. And can you explain to people what that is and why you guys wanted to do it?
Yeah. So animating on twos is one pose per 2 frames. So you have, it started from 100 plus years ago with Walt Disney doing, hand painting cells, but they didn't want to do 24 drawings per second. They needed a way to save time and money. And so that was to do 12 drawings per second. So they would take 2 pictures of every frame, every drawing. That's called animating on twos. So we wanted to harken back to original art style. So that was like a nod to the history of animation. It's also in stop motion animation as well. They did the same thing for the same reasons. But we wanted to mix it up. So we're on twos, but we also switched to ones, animating on every frame. So for our vehicles and our cameras are all on ones. And then when actions got really fast or really big, we would go in, tweak in, and add in a little bit more in betweening as needed. But it was all really as an effort to nod to historic, history of animation, but also so that we could pause it any given time, have no motion blur, and for it to look like the whole thing was illustrated and painted. That was really the kind of core conceit of this movie, was to make moving concept art.
Yeah, that's the thing that I read, that you guys were looking to do moving concept art, and it looks like that. It, like I said, man, props. So one of the shots that I love is I forget which one it is. It's when Ursa's going into the castle, and it's like a oner.
Oner.
Yeah, it's a crazy oner, which these are not like common in animation. This is hard to do.
It's really hard. It's really hard.
That's why there's not a lot of oners like this in animation. So talk a little bit about specifically that shot, why you wanted to do it, and as you said, the difficulty in pulling it off.
Yeah. So we were excited about holding back the action just for a few minutes, right? We wanted to really kind of settle into this character, into this kind of brutal world of the Vikings. But then we wanted to just unleash this crazy battle and establish how strong Ursa was. And so that came down to her character, she was singular in vision. No matter what, she was obsessed with revenge, and the source of the revenge was in that castle. And so we just thought, wouldn't it be so cool if the camera never stopped facing that goal? No matter what happens, we would like, pan left, pan right, but you know what? We're coming back to that goal, coming back to that goal. So we thought, not only is it cool and is it awesome to put like 62, 64 kills in one shot, which is crazy, and beheadings and everything, but also to not stop the the camera, to keep it rolling, was a way to enhance the story of Ursa, because Ursa doesn't stop.
Yeah, it's like, can you explain, like, something that people don't realize is certain shots cost more money than others. So what's a shot in this that you'd think is easy, but is actually pretty expensive? You know what I mean? Like, how does that all work behind the scenes?
Yeah, geez, it has so much to do with the number of characters. It has to do with what effects are in there, what kind of interactivity is there, how big is the set, there's just, it's honestly, it's kind of like, it's just an alternate universe version of making a live action movie. In the same way you might think of like, oh, we have to build sets and we have to hire actors, we have to hire extras. Someone has to make everything in animation. Like literally everything has to be created by someone. So the cost really comes down to hands and talent and artistry. So I think it's easy to think of it as just like a bunch of dollar signs, but really that translates to a bunch of people, and people who are really pouring their hearts into it. So a thing that might have been, was extra complicated. I mean, there's a shot when we're in the hangar bay in World War II, and it starts looking up, and there's an elevator, and we're looking up and we see a bunch of guys up top. And they're kind of hanging out on the top here, and the elevator's rising. First of all, it's so gorgeous. It's one of my favorite shots. But as the elevator comes through, we change lighting schemes. And then it turns into this close-up dialogue scene for Torres and his comrade there, and with this engine. And that lighting switch was really hard because those are two entirely different lighting setups and compositing setups. We had to blend seamlessly with no cuts. So that was a real challenge.
How long did it actually take you guys to make this? And I ask this because hypothetically, if I wanted to see a sequel to this, I'm just curious what's the time frame for when it might get, you get what I'm joking around, but being serious.
Yeah, no, really. I mean, first of all, we, talked about it for quite a while. It was a big swing. It was a bold swing, right? And so it was a lot of thinking about like, what could this be? What could it not be? But once we got a little bit of a go to explore the story and explore a little bit of art. That was a couple of months. But we said, okay, you know what? Let's really go for this. That was the beginning of September 2023. And we delivered the final approved movie end of February 2025. So it was about 18 months, which is roughly half the normal time you would spend on an animated feature.
Yeah, I have to wrap with you, but do you think that time frame can be even abridged more, or do you think like 18 months is really the minimum to make a movie like this?
It's that was incredibly fast. I can't really imagine going any faster than that, but that was blazing fast.
Listen, I really mean it. Congratulations. People are going to love it. Seriously.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Steve.
Cool.